Start stream. And there we go. Stream is live. Hi, YouTube.
YouTubers.
What's happening?
YouTubers.
The tubers. So the ritual is to start the stream and then wait for Ron, right? Is
Ron,
that
Ron, are you out there?
Start the stream. And
Ron might have been watching the golf.
He might have been watching the golf. Absolutely, yeah.
What's the weather where Ron's at? We need to check that.
Ron is in Ohio. Probably similar to what it was in St. Louis,
yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's see. So we have intro and outro. And okay. Now, let's see. All right. I think we are ready to go. Uncle Mosh, you got anything? You want to get any exclusive content to the YouTube crowd? You want to look down into the barrel of the lens of the Logitech and give them some
give me one
sage
second.
Words of advice.
It's 79. It's 79 degrees Fahrenheit in Ohio right now.
There you go.
Ron might be outside.
He might be outside. All right, there you go.
That's all I got.
Okay, that's it. All right, let's kick it off. Oh, I gotta find the intro. I always miss this. Here it is.
Raiders! Turn on a flashlight, flip a light switch, strike a match, just light something on fire. Welcome to Murf's Fan Cave from the Dago Dungeon. Join me, Uncle Mosh, as we join Raiders Fan Radio, taking a lighter journey into the dark side.
Okay, we're back. Look left, look right, Bolitnikov, a leaking pass, touchdown!
We miss you, we love you, and we'll see you in the Hall of Fame.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Intercepted by Khalil Mack, touchdown! Raiders!
The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play.
Well, I love this team. I think this team can win.
What is up, Raider Nation? Your old buddy Murf back here again for another what we hope to be fantastic episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Thank you for joining us here in Murf's Fan Cave for episode number what episode? Not 70. Episode 90 of Raiders Fan Radio right here in the Fan Cave. So thank you again, as always, for joining us. Joining me in said Fan Cave is, of course, the one and only Uncle Mosh. Uncle Mosh, welcome to Raiders Fan Radio.
What's up, Murf?
He's squeezing that one out there or what?
Yeah. No, I'm just excited to be back. I'm excited to be here. I'm fired up about today's episode.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a good day.
It's going to be a good day. We are officially in the season, Uncle Mosh.
Oh my gosh, it's out of control.
We are in the season. We have Raiders football that has been played recently to talk about today. So that will be a lot of fun. So we're going to get to a lot of the Raiders versus Lions game, of course. We're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about our player, of course, to represent the number 90. We're going to talk about the 4-minute offense today, Mosh, our new segment that we have here on Raiders Fan Radio. We're going to do the 4-minute offense. We are going to discuss the Raiders practice with the Lions that happened prior to their playing of the game. Then we're going to dip into the Sea of Fans mailbag for a listener voicemail. And then we're going to feature an interview with the one and only Mike Summers. If you don't know who Mike Summers is, Mike is the guy that organizes the Raider Fan Convention every year.
And the convention is an awesome thing.
It is.
It should be on a bucket list for Raiders fans.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a bucket list item.
Absolutely. And there's a cool little tidbit that you'll hear in the interview there about one of the locations that Mike is going to plan a Raiders fan convention. And I believe that we're going to collaborate with Mike and might be a live Raiders Fan Radio broadcast coming to you that you'll hear about in the interview. So hope you guys will enjoy that. All right, Uncle Mosh. So a couple things to get to today before we start digging into the show. Okay. you and I just got done watching the PGA Championship, right?
Yeah. What a day. What a day. We watched golf, and there was no naps involved.
I know, right? Because there's usually and always a nap involved. Some of the best napping you can possibly have is Jim Nantz at the Masters, right? Regular season baseball. Like there's a handful of things that are absolutely naptastic, and golf is one of them. But today, right, it was exciting because Tiger, for the first time, was contending for a major. Well, not the first time. He did just earlier this year, but consistently for the first time in 10 years, right? Since he was actually in contention to win a tournament. And it went down to the last couple of holes for him to win. So, Mosh, my question to you is this. In the relevance, the reemergence of Tiger Woods over this 10-year period since 2008 when he last won a major, and I won't get into all the details of what happened with Tiger, but he was been away from the sport for a litany of different things. What would be more significant? Tiger Woods returning after a 10-year absence to win a major, or John Gruden returning to coaching and winning a Super Bowl?
Ooh, well, if this isn't Tiger Woods fan radio.
No, but I'll tell you what, let me qualify it this way then. What is a bigger sports story? Just the story, fandom aside.
It's so funny that you should say that because as we were listening and we were cracking up, you and I were listening to the announcers, and they have a lot of fun out there. They come up with some crazy stuff. And one of them said, if Tiger wins the Masters in Augusta in April, it wouldn't be just the biggest comeback in golf history. It could be the biggest comeback in sports history.
Yeah.
I mean, they said that, Now then, we look at it as, okay, so is golf a sport or is it a game?
Yeah, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think the idea that Gruden can win the Super Bowl with our Raiders is more feasible right now than Tiger breaking Jack's records.
Well, sure, but what the comeback though, I guess, is where I'm leaning. Is the comeback a bigger deal for the coach in the team sport, or is the comeback the bigger story, the player in the individual sport?
Here's the way I look at it: Gruden didn't hit rock bottom; Tiger did.
That's true. That's true. That's why I guess that's where I was going.
I give the nod to Tiger on the comeback, but as far as who would be on the SI cover more. It's probably hard to say. Team sports, probably Chucky and the Raiders. It's hard to say.
Probably too many different dynamics going on there to really give it a fair comparison. But I think that it's very interesting though that here we have two of the most. Look, Tiger was what Bill Belichick is to football, right? Because Tiger was so dominant and had such a concentrated time of winning, where Gruden had some time of winning, and then it was spaced out by kind of really, frankly, mediocre coaching, or at least mediocre performance in coaching with Tampa Bay, where Tiger was the greatest thing we had ever seen in the history of the sport for a chunk of time there. I mean, we were just talking about it while we were watching it. We all expected for him to blow right on past Nicklaus, but he didn't. He stalled out. Now it's been 10 years. Yeah. So, but interesting conversation.
Spoiler, he ended up in second place. Adam Scott kind of choked on the 18th.
Yeah.
And 17th and 18th. And, one of the things that we talked about is the interview with Tiger. It's a new Tiger. Him talking in the interview he was gracious. He did a fantastic job on the interview, and he was pleased. The guy shot a 64. It's the best round he's ever shot in his life in a major. And he came in second place. But Jack Nicklaus has 19 second places in majors.
How many is that for Tiger now? Did you look?
I didn't look. I'm not sure what it was.
Not that many.
But not that many. Because Tiger, he either won them or he didn't,
Unbelievable. Pretty cool stuff, Mosh. Wow. Pretty cool stuff. All right, so as you know, this is Raiders fan radio. This isn't Tiger fan radio, but we thought it was interesting and certainly relevant in the sports landscape. Pretty cool stuff there that the Tiger was in contention for a major. So anyways, that's all we got to start off the show. Gave you the rundown. And so now we are going to actually, no, that isn't everything. I got one last little thing for you. I got something. So earlier this year, this guy hit me up on social media. Ken Cruz is his name. And he does these customized action figures. He does these things for his company is Monster Mash, not Mosh, Monster Mash action figures. And he hit me up and he asked if he could do a figure of me. And I was pretty flattered. I'm like, yeah,
that's awesome.
that'd be cool. He said, will you shout me out on the show? And I said, yeah, absolutely.
They used to do figures of me, but they did them out of Mr. Potato Heads.
They painted the top of it white.
Painted the top of it white. Yeah. And they stuffed donuts in my mouth.
So he asked if he could do the figure, and I said, yeah, of course. So he did, and it came to me. And so for the YouTube crowd, here, let me switch the camera here. So for the YouTube crowd, I'll show you. So there's little Murf there. It's pretty cool. He's got an RFR shield, and so He's got our logo on the shield there with the 2 skulls and the microphone, and he's wearing a number 12 jersey because my favorite player is Kenny Stabler.
Absolutely.
And he's got a Raider hat on and a pair of camo cargo shorts and some white socks because that's how I roll, and a pair of Nikes on, man, and it's pretty cool. So that's little Murf, and so Ken Cruz, nice. So Ken Cruz, Monster Mash action figures. So hit him up. And so here's something funny about the thing. Little Murf's got a pull string on him, Mosh.
Little Murf does.
Little Murf. And so you pull the string, and you know what happens?
Tell me. Show me.
You said this was a fan cave. It looks more like your spare room.
Little Murf talks.
Do it again.
You said this was a fan cave. It looks more like your spare room.
So little Murf has actually got some dialogue to him. So here, let's try another one. See what this one does.
Uncle Mosh, I can't hear myself think. Keep it down, fool.
I guess little Murf doesn't like it when you talk so much, Uncle Mosh. Let's try one more.
I like John Gruden, but I love me some Chucky.
Oh, there you go. He loves Chucky. Of course he loves Chucky, right?
Yeah.
Another fellow doll. So anyways, thanks to Ken Cruz. Thanks, Little Murf. I guess Little Murf might be a feature of, I guess he'll be the third man in the booth for a while. I don't know. But anyways, it's so pretty cool there. So check out Monster Mash action figures, and thanks to Ken for sending that. Pretty fun. It freaked my wife out, but my kids love it. So,
yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. So I do have one more thing though. I thought I got it all out, but I don't. I got one more thing for you. So as you heard there, you heard some sounds coming as we're doing the show, and so here's what happened. Uncle Mosh said, "I want to play sounds during the show," so we set up a soundboard for him so he could play sounds during the show. So he's got this iPad over there with these sounds. So throughout the course of the show, you're going to hear different sounds. Come on here on
and when we're not very good.
Yeah. Here you go. So Uncle Mosh is loaded up with sound. Now listen, we didn't talk about this, but let's address it here on the show for the tens and tens of listeners. Okay. All right. Let's not turn this into the morning zoo. I don't want to be like, and hey, it's yuck and boner in the studio, and you know what I mean? And, hey, Mikey the intern's up there on the billboard, and he's not coming down until he gets 60,000 retweets. You know what I mean? I don't want to turn into that. You know what I mean? Hey, we got Hooters girls in the studio, and
you might have to limit me.
Yeah.
Like I can do 2 boos and a cheer in the first hour.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. Yeah. No, we don't want to turn into the yuck morning hour here with the Raiders. So, but anyway, so have fun with it, Uncle Mosh, but definitely want to meter yourself at least a little bit, right?
There you go.
All right, sounds good. So let's go ahead and get to some contact info so you can hear how you can get in touch with us, and then when we come back, we are definitely going to talk about the Raiders.
All right, boys and girls, pay attention. You got your old Uncle Mosh here with an update. That's right. I got some stuff for you. Take out a piece of paper, a pencil, a pen. Heck, use your pocket knife and carve the info into your dashboard as you're driving down the highway. First off, you need to like us on our fan page on Facebook. That's right. Go to Facebook at Raiders Fan Radio Podcast. Don't forget about the Twitter. You know your old Uncle Mosh, he twits now. That's right. Go to at Raiders Fan Radio. Also, don't forget the Instagram at Raiders Fan Radio. Or what about our website? That's right, RaidersFanRadio.com. Heck, if you want to, you can even email us, show@RaidersFanRadio.com, or call us on the Raiders Fan Radio hotline, 909-345-3346. That's 909-345-3346. Don't forget Murf's Fan Cave on the YouTube, where you can get all the show links like the Fan Club Blitz with Splatterhead and Fitz. Find all our stuff on podcast providers like Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Play. All right, did I hit the time limit? Good.
All right, Uncle Mosh. So before we jump into it, a couple things. So on the YouTube live feed, you can watch us, watch a couple of faces made for radio, right? And so appreciate everybody checking in with us there. And there's a live chat that goes on there. So every once in a while, we like to dip into the chat, say hi to everybody. Appreciate Brandon, Alexander, Nick, Ron is in there, Juan Herrera. Appreciate all you guys jumping in and joining us there in the chat. I've had some questions about T-shirts in there already. I'm not sure what we're going to do, what our T-shirt plan is. We have the old school Raiders Fan Radio logoed shirts. We have just a couple of those left. But as far as what we're going to have coming up, they're asking about the ones that we're wearing. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet. We hadn't gotten that far yet, but we'll have something, I'm sure, coming up for the seasons. But I appreciate you all asking and appreciate everybody that's there joining us in the chat. All right, so here on Raiders Fan Radio, we always like to name our episodes after a player. So for this episode, for episode number 90, we're going to go with kind of two guys. There isn't really like one major name that jumps out in terms of the number 90. But I'm gonna go with Grady Jackson. Grady Jackson was a defensive tackle for us back in the glory days of Gruden when he was around the first time. New player Trayvon Hester. I mean, he's still on the roster, and Trayvon's doing some decent things, and we'll see where his career goes. But as of right now, I think Grady Jackson's got to be the guy. Mosh, wouldn't you say? I mean, Grady wasn't like a career Raider or anything. He was with us for a few years, and then, gosh, I think he played for like 9 other teams or something.
The thing about Grady, it's what we've talked about in the past. It's that Tennessee connection.
Oh, right. He played it like
Tennessee.
He played at UT?
No. He played.
It was like Knoxville College or
Knoxville,
something.
It was called Knoxville College.
Okay.
And it was a predominantly black university, founded 100 years ago or so. And he had a good career there,
Okay.
and then went on into the pros, obviously.
Okay, right.
But we talk a lot about that Tennessee Raider connection.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
very cool. All right, and I think even you might have to check my math on this. I think even Trayvon Hester has a dang Tennessee connection too. We might have to look that up.
Yeah, we have to look that up.
Yeah, we'll look that up. So, I tell you, if you want to do that, I'll on Grady Jackson's stats. So, as a Raider, 5-year career with the Raiders. Again, not anything major other than he spent more years with the Raiders than he did anybody else. He played for Atlanta and Green Bay, and he actually played even like an arena year, I want to say, something like that. But he did have a handful of sacks as a Raider, the most coming in the year 2000. The guy had 8 sacks, which is a lot for an interior defensive lineman. So pretty good there. 8 sacks and then 51 tackles, of course, and that was the 2000 year when the Raiders reemerged as we returned to excellence. So pretty cool there. So Grady Jackson is who we want to celebrate here on this episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Did you find anything on Trayvon?
I didn't.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that it's not out there.
All right. So you do that, and I will organize our thoughts for the 4-minute offense, which we will get to here in just a minute. Or is there anything else?
Hey, what's up, Raider Nation? This is EJ Manuel. You're listening to Raiders Fan Radio. Super excited to get this season back rolling, and I hope you guys are having a great offseason.
That was Uncle Mosh catching me on missing a cue. You want to do that again?
Yeah.
So for those of you on YouTube, you get to see our flaws. For those of you to the podcast, this will be seamless.
Yeah. So,
Trayvon Hester.
He had
Oh my gosh, you're killing me.
I'm killing you.
Yeah, you want me to look it up? I'll look it up.
I didn't catch it. I looked it up. I didn't catch it.
Okay, Trayvon Hester. I think he played at a Tennessee school. I don't believe he did. There was somebody else at Warren. There was somebody else that wore the number 90 that had a Tennessee connection. I think I caught that when I was looking through. Yeah, he played at Toledo. You caught. Well, you did know that.
But that's
all you
not-
had to say was no, Josh, you're wrong, or no, Murf, you're wrong. He played at Toledo, and then you hit your musical cue, and then we're on to the next segment.
You know, there are people that like me out there, and they don't like it when you scold me. One of those people that likes me is EJ Manuel.
Hey, what's up, Raider Nation? This is EJ Manuel. You're listening to Raiders Fan Radio. Super excited to get this season back rolling. I hope you guys are having a great offseason.
We're pretty stupid.
We're a mess today. We are a little
Tiger. It's all Tiger.
It's all Tiger. We were like in this golf mode. Yeah, that was okay. All right, so new segment here on Raiders Fan Radio is the 4-minute offense. The 4-minute offense is our new segment. This is where you're going to get me and Uncle Mosh running down 5 stories that are big deals in Raider Nation, and so we're going to go and run through these things, and we're keeping ourselves on a timer because otherwise we will get into the weeds on this stuff and it ends up being a 29-minute segment.
Oh my gosh.
So instead, we're going to go with the timer here. And let me bring up my little Pink Floyd timer here. Okay, I've got it ready. And so here we go with the 4-minute offense, 5 stories in Raider Nation in 4 minutes. And all right, Uncle Mosh, the Raiders win this week. They took back the field, played the Detroit Lions in a preseason game, winning at home in front of a Coliseum crowd. How awesome is it that football is back?
Oh my gosh, it was a long, dry summer. It really was. It was out there in the weeds, and we were hurting for stuff.
Bad. Yeah. Those last couple of weeks in July were really, really rough.
All right, so let's talk about the next thing on our list. Joint practices, a good idea or a bad idea? Anytime you can hit somebody else, it's a good idea. I like it. I like the idea that other folks come in, whether it's you going into their house or they're coming into your house, and you can hit somebody else other than the same old guys. And the reason for that is you start to learn what they do. You start to see their mistakes. We're going to play these folks, but we're not going to play them every single day. So, it's good to hit somebody else.
Absolutely. I like the idea of the joint practices too, and I really like it with an out of conference, out of division. Like, you couldn't get further away from the AFC West than the NFC North and the Detroit Lions, right?
Absolutely.
Like, so if you're going to have a joint practice with somebody, like, yeah, be them, be the Falcons, you know what I mean? Don't do it with the freaking, the Steelers or something like that. Absolutely. So, all right, Uncle Mosh, if I were to have asked you who Kelsey Martinez was earlier in the week, would you have known who she was?
I would say this.
All right, there you go. So a lot of people don't know who Kelsey Martinez. Kelsey Martinez, if you don't know, Raider Nation, she is the first ever hired female assistant coach in the NFL, only preceded by Catherine Smith, who was the first full-time coach for the Bills, and then Jen Welter became the first female positional coach for the Cardinals. But this is the first time in NFL history that a female has taken a full assistant coach role in the NFL. Once again, the freaking Raiders are blazing trails when it comes to this stuff, and I love it.
That's great. Man, that's awesome. Okay, so what's the feedback on her? What are the players saying?
Players love her. Okay, so some players have even worked with Kelsey in the past. She comes from the ESPN Wide World of Sports thing in Orlando, where the legendary Tom Shaw, this performance center, and guys like James Cowser, Bruce Irvin, Justin Ellis, guys like that have already worked with her in the past. So she is like hit the ground running and been embraced by the group, and it's been awesome so far. Yeah,
we got to go. Mac wants $22 million.
Woo!
You know what I got to say on him?
Woo!
Give it to him.
Ooh,
Give
really?
it to him.
Hot take.
Give him his money. Let's go. Next one.
I agree. Now that's quarterback money, Mosh.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. When we're looking at this guy to be basically to be a defensive franchise player for us. Give him the money.
Give him the money. He'd be the second highest paid player on the team.
Let's go.
Beside Derek Carr. Derek Carr's at that $25 million range. So you're saying pay now that'd be more than Von Miller.
Pay.
So he would make, because I think Von Miller's $19 million.
Right.
So 22 would be a few million more. So that's fair, right? That's in line.
And the best thing about it, give him the money and shut these people up because he's not going to the Colts and he's not going to the Packers.
What do you say to the fans that are out there thinking, well, he's going to be traded and this is what the Raiders should get for him?
I'm saying you need to start reading other articles.
I love that. All right, last up, Uncle Mosh, in the 4-minute offense here. Is it fair for me to hate on Pharaoh Brown? Every time I see Pharaoh Brown on TV with Brown on the back and number 81, it makes me think of Tim Brown. And look, Pharaoh Brown might be just a fine young man in tight end. I can't stand it when he's on my TV.
I would comment on that, but...
Wow, we hit it right on the nose, didn't we? There you go. There's the 4-minute. Oh, thank you. All right. There's the 4-minute offense.
Hey, this is Pete Koch, former Los Angeles Raider. Yeah, back in the old days, baby. And you're listening to Murf and Uncle Mosh, who happens to have the same hair as me. Now check it out, Raiders Fan Radio.
All right, thank you to Pete Koch there for getting us to break. So I missed it again. I did it again. This is it. I got to get into the flow of this.
And you know what the funny thing is?
What?
You wrote the script.
I know I wrote it. I wrote the breaks and I still missed it. I know it. Absolutely. All right, hey, that was fun. I like the 4-minute offense.
I love the 4-minute
That's a fun segment. That's a fun segment. All right, Uncle Mosh. So as we've talked already and established, the Raiders practiced with the Detroit Lions this week before the game. They had joint practices between the two teams and some fun storylines in there. Tyre, we call him Tyre now. It's Tyre. I got to remember that. Tyre Whitehead, of course, coming over from the Lions. So pretty cool there. So we're going to talk about that. I do have some mic'd up audio from Tyre from this joint practice between the teams. And so let's go ahead and hit that up and pretty cool stuff.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Set, hit. We bring the energy. We bring the juice all day, man. All day, E. All day. Over communicate. Over communicate. You feel me, DJ? We signed up for the hard job, baby. We signed up for the hard job. You feel me? That's why they passed the big bucks.
Let's walk on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Let's rock. Boom! Ah! Let's go! Let's go! Ah!
Come on, man.
Let's go! Let's go! There we go! There we go, cows! Yeah! How we looking on? Oh yeah?
I've seen 3 folks just run through somebody.
For real?
Speed bump that.
Oh yeah? Like that?
Speed bump.
Ooh.
Straight up speed bump.
Ooh. My middle one, unless he got an attitude, he got an attitude. He like, man, I don't even want to shake this dude's hand right now, man. You making me talk to this guy. Just give him that look. Kid's funny, man. You feel me? It ain't about me. You feel me? You know, man, got people depending on me, you know. Wake up in the morning, you see them, you like, I gotta get it. You feel me? Man, let's have ourselves a day, man.
I don't want to hear none of that today. Woo!
Oh, you gonna hear it. You know how it go. All the time, baby. All the time. Let's go! Let's go! Do it again! Do it again!
I love that. He's hollering at him, do it again, because he just stuffed him in the right there in the gap, man. He just stuffed him at the line of scrimmage. He's telling him, do it again. I love it, man. Tyre Whitehead, man. He's turning into one of my favorites. So pretty cool there. So a couple things. First off, I love it getting the inside to the players, and you start not. I hate to use the term their personal lives because I don't mean it like that, but I like hearing the humanity of these guys. Like when we talked to like Keith Smith, we ended up talking to Keith about his daughter and his foundation and like what he does in the off season and like getting to know these guys outside of the white lines. I really like that. And hearing Tyre talk about his kids, talk about his middle son, like that's the kind of stuff that I get more enjoyment out of that than a lot of times watching the gameplay stuff.
Sure.
Just hearing those guys talk, it's fascinating to me, and I think that's why shows like Hard Knocks and All or Nothing, and that's why these shows are so popular, is because you see the players and the coaches, you know, in a completely different light, don't you think?
Yeah, you really can. You really can. But of course, for me as a fan, I just love the audios, man. You just you're just those and the crashes and the smashes and the bangs, man. It's just
cool.
It's amazing.
That's cool.
And then the tech geek in me thinks, oh man, they just wrecked another microphone.
Absolutely. Another thing in there too, you hear them. He's talking with, I can't remember if it was Kalechi or somebody, and he asked about how the offense looks, and he talks about how. He said Chris Warren. He says 3-4, 3-4, number 34. Chris Warren. He's talking about how he speed bumped that guy.
Yeah.
Speed bumped that dude. So Chris Warren trucks Jared Davis, linebacker Jared Davis for the Detroit Lions, trucks him like out of the frame. Like he completely blows him over. And Ron sent me something earlier this week, and it was I forget if it was a tweet or a post or something, but basically it was from one of the reporters. I believe it was Paul Gutierrez. He said that Chris Warren, the running back for the Raiders, 34, runs with a high pad level, right?
Okay.
And you always want your guys to run low, right? So he runs in high, and we're going to hear more from Chris later, but Chris in this practice runs in high. After the play's over, Gruden pulls him aside and tells him, you got to get low. You got to lower your pad level. Next play, Chris Warren trucks Jared Davis out of the pick. And so Ron's sending me that comment. Ron said, this is coaching. This
Absolutely.
is what we've been
yes,
missing.
Yes.
This is that hands-on, applicable coaching. That's what the Raiders have been missing,
And it
right?
was an immediate adjustment. And that's the thing. It's boom. I see something wrong. Let me show you how to fix it. Trust me.
Yes.
You know, and boom. The guy's been running like that his entire life. Chucky says, drop your level. Boom.
There you go.
He speed bumps.
There you go. Oh, so cool. So cool. So also around camp this week, NFL Network's just been bebopping around all over the Raiders this week. And, of course, Steve Smith, former wide receiver for the Ravens and Panthers, and now commentator on NFL Network. He kind of jumped in a little bit on the Raiders and how they've looked at practice, and specifically how the wide receivers have looked. And so here's Steve Smith on the Raiders wideouts.
I'm a bias. I'm going to go 89. I love Cooper. Just talking to him earlier off camera, seeing his excitement with John Gruden and the offense, hearing John Gruden talk about that the offense is really going through him. He's a guy, you watch him at Alabama, you know what he brought to the table. And everybody that comes out of Alabama, other than Julio Jones, they say he's the next Amari Cooper. You know, so it's really just cool to watch him. And a lot of people say his numbers were down, but I look at that as really the whole team obviously struggled, but that wasn't just based on players. It was also coaches, a great combination, and which why they brought in John Gruden, a new coaching staff. But I expect great things from Amari Cooper, and then also Jordy Nelson. I expect him to pick up where he left off, catching the ball deep, stretching the field, and then also Martavis Bryant. Like, you know, what he brings to the table: fast, very athletic, tall, can go get the ball anywhere. So I just see that this offense, it has the ceiling, the sky's the limit. It's going to be exciting to watch.
So, we like to provide at least what we think is insight every once in a while on this show. And one of the things that we talked about in episode number 89, when we discussed Amari Cooper and his drop-off last year after back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons in his first 2 years in the league, about how not only did he fall off, but the entire team fell off, and it was a result of the coaching. And what did we just hear Steve Smith say? Like, I'd like to think that we're as enlightened as a former NFL wide receiver. I don't know. That's probably overshooting it a little bit, but I'd just like to hear that's, that's kind of what we felt too, right?
On the way over this morning, I guess it was this afternoon, I was listening to the radio, and they were talking, and it was the Fox Sports Radio, I think is who it was. And they were saying, and it was so funny because they were saying what we've been saying, you and Sonny and me, and fans and everybody's been saying is when you get a team, you coach the team and you play to the player's strengths. You don't, if you've got a passing quarterback, you know, if they could do that in college, and they were talking about Tim Tebow.
Okay.
You know, in his conference, he had all these great records and all these great stats and everything, but it wasn't known as a big defensive rushing kind of conference. You know, they were talking about that thing.
Yeah,
so you play to the player's strengths.
Okay.
And we've been saying that forever.
Yes.
You know, you bring them in, play to their strengths, just like you talked about in that 2 minutes ago. Gruden says this could be your strength. Get down low, lower where you're going to be, and truck through these guys, you know? And that's the kind of stuff that we've been wanting to see happen.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, you know, with like, especially like a guy with Cooper in relation to that. You know, what takes advantage of his skill set? Sticking him out there at wide receiver 1 or 2 and leaving him out there all game long? Not necessarily. Why not move him around, take advantage of matchups? This is the whole crux of what makes Bill Belichick, is that he takes the talents of the players that he has available, and then he builds around them. And he builds schemes based on what they do best, and that's what it sounds like. That's what the Raiders are going to do. Heck, they even showed it in the game. We're going to get to the game here in a minute, but they're going to – when they sent Martavis Bryant on that freaking go route, and Derek – now, of course, Derek missed him. Derek's pass was terrible, but Martavis had a step. He was on the wrong side of the defense. It was great. Like, that's what you do with that guy.
Yeah.
Like, you go down, you know what I mean? But Cooper, you might move him inside, let him wiggle a little bit. You know what I mean? Have him run a drag or slants and all, quick cut routes and all that stuff. And get him open out of the slot.
And he wants to mix it up.
And
they want to mix it up. They don't want to do the same exact thing all the time. They were talking about, on the radio this morning, they were talking about Carr's brother. You know, he got his head bashed in Houston.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, he did.
Got killed. It ruined him.
Yeah.
You know,
it really did.
It ruined David. You know, and that we're so lucky that Chucky came in when he did.
Yeah.
Because another year with the Del Rios, you know, it could have been the end.
It could have been rough. You know, and it's funny. You know, it's funny you said that too, because, and again, we're going to talk about the game here in a minute, but something else about that game, that watching the demeanor on the sidelines, whether it was Carr or Marshawn or any of the guys, frankly, they were smiling and having fun.
Yep.
Holy cow. Like, it feels like it's been years since they were. I mean, of course, Marshawn week 2 last year was dancing on the sidelines, and that was an amazing scene and a great time. But that was when they were, you know, 2-0 going into the season.
And why do we remember that? Because that was a fleeting moment. We didn't have many of those.
It was absolutely, it was fleeting. It was over as quick as it started, and so to see them already having fun, enjoying it on the sidelines, it's just great. It's just a good time to be a Raider fan, and kudos to Gruden for already changing it. Right, he's already beginning to change the culture, and so that's definitely
he's letting them sit on their helmets again.
Sorry, I'm a little late on this ID. The YouTube crowd sees the delay, but the podcast folks won't see it. Where's it at? Here it is.
You're listening to Raiders Fan Radio with the real star of the show, Little Murf, and my sidekick, Uncle Mosh. There used to be a third guy, too, but I kick him out.
All right, little Murf showing up there with with an ID there on the break. All right, so Uncle Moss, let's talk about the game. Let's get to it. First off, let's go to Gruden. This is a much condensed version of his post game conference. I cut it down to make it a little more palatable here for the show. So it's about 4-minute shot here, but awesome stuff from John. It was great to hear him discuss his return to the Coliseum, his return to coaching, his return to play calling, kind of all the things that we were wondering, you know, what it was going to be like for him, what kind of mindset he was going to be in.
I hate to interrupt you,
Please
but
do.
It was pretty cool. I got up Saturday morning. I was watching the news drinking my coffee, you know, playing Candy Crush, watching the news. And that's what I do. I was on a lot of scratchers. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching the local news, and they're running through, you know, everything that happened, blah, blah, blah. And they get to the little 2-minute sports section on Saturday morning, and our local guy on Channel 4, Big Joe, he did a little thing about Gruden. Here we are in Titans country, and he goes, and by the way, it was really cool to see John Gruden back on the sidelines. And
very cool.
I was like, what? I looked up, I almost choked on my coffee. It was great.
That's very cool. Well, it's a national story, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's the biggest story, certainly, of the offseason, coming in. I mean, it was January 9th. That's how long it's been now since he's been back, but it was the biggest story then, and it continues to be. So, anyways, let's go ahead and let's hear from Coach right after the Lions-Raider game at the Coliseum.
Good evening. Just be happy to answer any questions that I can. Happy to say that we won a football game, even though it's preseason. That's what it's all about, finding ways to win. But plenty of things to clean up. There were some bright moments, and I can't wait to see the tape. Great to be back in the Coliseum. I'll say that. Really cool, tight. Any questions?
Talked about how you relayed it was like when you went out there for the first time.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I saw some recognizable faces that had gotten a little bit older. Saw some old friends that they mean a lot to me. And like I said all along, this is a great responsibility. The nostalgia's worn off. We gotta do something with the opportunity. But it was sure great to see the Raider fans, and they stayed with us until the end. I really appreciate it.
John, you fall right back into the rhythm of running a game, calling the plays, and everything going smoothly?
Yeah, I thought we got off to a great start other than the penalties. I thought we could have had a very good evening had it not been for Marshawn's long run being called back. We had a fumbled snap at the 5-yard line going in. We can't get set on a quick play to negate their challenge, which cost us more points. We left a lot out there. I think we had a 3rd and 1 play. We had a man go the wrong way. So, you can't win in this league in the regular season and make mistakes like that. But there were some good moments. Some guys played well tonight.
Did you think about Connor Cook? Your pass rush, specifically P.J. Hall and research?
Well, P.J. Hall comes in on his very first play, gets a sack. I think he bats a pass down. I think he batted down and blocked a lot of kicks in college. He's just a very good inside rusher, and that's good for him. He missed part of training camp with the pec strain. Maurice Hurst had some good pressures. I would love to see Arden Key play tonight, but he didn't go. And we're really hopeful one of these days we'll get Khalil back to fortify everything. But good start for our 2 young guys.
What do you think of Connor Cook's play? He seems pretty poised.
Yeah, I thought he did pretty good. He had a great day the other day against the Lions in Napa. He's had an excellent training camp. He's not turned the ball over. He's shown pretty good command. There are a couple decisions I just can't wait to talk to him about and get his perspective. But he moved the team, put points on the board. I liked the 2-minute at the end of the half, and happy with our kicker, our young kicker, with the exception of the kickoff at the end of the game.
Were you trying to have a kick off the dirt for him?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I really was. And I remember when we drafted Janikowski, it was like being on a foreign planet for him when he got here and started kicking off the dirt. So we did manage to get him a couple looks. And that wasn't a short field goal. That was a big field goal, a lengthy one indeed at the end of the half.
John, you had a lot of interaction with both Carr and Cook when they're coming off the field. Is that the way it's going to be? You're just going to stop the quarterback throughout?
Pretty much. I mean, right now I'm calling the plays, so trying to get their perspective, trying to make sure we're on the same page. What did they see? What can we go to next? A lot of collaboration involved, obviously.
How do you think Chris Warren ran today?
I like that guy, man. If you know anything about him, his dad was one heck of a player at the Seattle Seahawks, Chris Warren, and he's a big back. You don't know it, but he's 253 pounds. He can run 4.5. He's a hammer. He can really thump you, and he's got breakaway speed. But he's improving in the passing game. He's becoming more and more of a running back instead of just a runner. He's becoming a receiver, blitz pickup. All those little details are improving, but he's got a lot of talent.
Speaking of breakaway speed, what did you see from Marshawn on that long run?
Yeah, I mean, that was a well-blocked play. That was called back. I didn't agree with that call at all, honestly. But that was a well-blocked play, and that's impressive. That guy was rolling, man. That was good to see. I was really ticked off, though, after that was called back. I just got to the stadium. I just called my 4th play. Anyhow.
So you knew you were back the first time you were upset? That's when you realized?
Yep, Chucky came out for a brief moment tonight.
Before the game, John, Garyon was out there in uniform, running around, getting...
Yeah, that was great. Garyon's got a chance to be back with us on the practice field Monday. And I think that, close to full go too. He's really close. He's really healed quickly, and my prayers have been answered. We need him. We need him back. We need to get him Arden Key. We got a number of players that didn't play tonight, so hopefully we can work out Donald Penn tomorrow, and we'll update you on his status as well. But a lot of guys didn't play tonight, and we're hoping we get him back soon.
All right, Uncle Mosh, there's Coach Gruden post-game. So, man, some pretty fun stuff there. You know, I loved hearing about his account of returning to the sidelines, his return to the Coliseum. Of course, there's been some great video out there of him, you know, going immediately. He went to the black hole, started giving high fives in the black hole.
Right.
Just, you know, just kind of, it was just good not only to see him return to the sidelines, but it was good to hear him account for it. What do you think?
I love what he said. He said, okay, the nostalgia has wore off. Let's play some football.
Yeah,
you know?
right, yeah.
You know, he did. He had some good. He had some great takes. Of course, everybody's going to take out of that. Chucky came out. You know, but other than that, the stuff will be fixed. You know,
right.
He's saying, and stuff will be fixed. He was able to say, you know, we did this, we did that, and we're going to get that guy. But the coolest thing, man, when he goes, I like that guy.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and I know Chris Warren is definitely happy to hear that as well, right? So, all right. So before we get to Chris, though, I do want to talk about that Marshawn run. We got some audio of it here. Let's go ahead and hear Marshawn running for 60.
Here we go. Lynch, big hole through the left side. Lynch tearing down the sideline. He will make it into the end zone, but a flag down behind the line. Right in the hole that Marshawn ran.
Yeah, so man, that was so cool. That had me out of my chair, man. I mean, that was exciting watching Marshawn take off like that. Seeing that kind of burst. I mean, he's always had that burst, that initial burst, but seeing him actually get out in the open field and take off like that was
and
like,
looking at the
whoa.
guy, looking at over his shoulder at the guy. But you know, we're such geeks that we really are geeks.
Yeah.
But before, when we were doing our prep and everything, we're looking at this on our phones and our pads and all this stuff, and we're looking at the run. And I've got it down where I can do it like my own little coach clicker. But it's not. It's just my big fat thumb on the pause button. So I'm looking, but man, what impressed me, Lee Smith.
Yeah?
Yeah, buddy. I mean, he's 6'6". He's the tight end. He goes in. He's lined up. He hits the block, and he if you get a chance, go back and look at it. He comes off of the block, okay, and there's a guy coming around. I couldn't catch his number. Guy coming around the corner, and he takes him completely out of the picture. And Marshawn, knowing where the hole is, cuts inside, and he's gone. He is off to the races. But check out the block that big old Lee Smith, 6'6", that he throws, man. It's amazing.
Awesome.
It's amazing.
Awesome. That's very cool. Well, and, you know, of course, Colton Miller was called for holding on the play. Well, you and Gruden, the two coaches, right? Don't think it was a lot of the rest of us kind of saw that arm extended out, and it looked like it was a hole. But
he was patting the guy on the back, man. They've been playing together all week.
Well, and the thing is that, you know, he might have gotten to the play. The defender, I don't know who it was, but the defender might have gotten to the play. But I mean, you know, it probably wasn't a necessary hold. Marshawn's going one way or the other, and I'm glad you point out Lee Smith, because Lee Smith is like a sixth lineman, right? Like he's just amazing. He's just a big dude, man. So absolutely, that was pretty cool. All right, so also, you know, a couple highlights from the game. Obviously, was the Marshawn run. Also, though, I got asked this week on the Mikey and Murf show who I thought if you were going to pick an MVP for a preseason game, who I thought the MVP was going to be, and I picked Ryan Switzer. And here's what Ryan did in the game the other night.
So you have to be able to run this thing effectively. You have to do this. Now make it work.
On 3rd and goal, Cook to the back of the end zone, diving to make the catch. Touchdown, Ryan Switzer, and a leap into the black hole.
So good. So good. So when Switzer, something cool, but not only does he make a great diving catch, but Mosh, the play breaks down. Cook rolls out to his left. Switzer is cutting across from right to left as you're watching it, cutting across the back of the end zone, stops, reverses direction, and that's when Cook hits him. It's such an incredible heads-up play. It's getting open. It's working for your quarterback and giving him a passing lane, man. It was awesome. And so immediately, as Beth Mowens mentions there, he goes and runs and jumps up into the black hole. And Mosh, the Raiders fan microphones were there.
So you have to be able to
no,
run this thing.
that's the touchdown call.
Yeah.
Here's Ryan Switzer jumping into the black hole. Now, now Ryan Switzer, self-proclaimed white men can't jump. He said, if I could have that one back, I'll do better next time.
Yeah.
You know, because he kind of barely made it over. But yeah, he jumped up there into the black hole. And so pretty cool. So congratulations. Of course, he's only 5'8", so, you know, he's got to get some serious hops to try to get up there anyways.
They need to set a chair out there. He can do it on a chair.
Put a step stool out there.
Whatever,
So
a block.
Or,
you know,
or he could have Lee Smith get on his hands and knees. And then
that would be
amazing. Yeah, he
amazing.
could jump off of Lee Smith's back to get up in there. But anyways, congratulations to Switzer for getting the touchdown there. My thinking as far as him getting MVP, quote, MVP of this game, I would have been more because I thought he was going to contribute more on special teams. Griff Whalen was the guy that did more of the return duties, which was surprising. But anyways, I was glad to see Switzer get some time there playing receiver. And, man, I'm stoked, Mosh, with Martavis Bryant, Jordy Nelson, Amari Cooper, now Ryan Switzer. I mean, Seth Roberts was hurt, so we haven't seen Seth. We know Seth has some talent, had some dropsies here lately, but we know Seth has talent. Got the rookie Marcel Aitman coming up. Like, man, our wide receivers. Steve Smith is right. We are stacked when it comes to
for sure.
comes to wide receiver play. So pretty cool. So a couple other things on the game, Mosh. Some things that were pointed out this week. We mentioned Colton Miller with the hold, on that Marshawn run, which was unfortunate. But outside of that, he really played a pretty good game, considering that he's a rookie, playing left tackle, one of the most important positions on the field. Looked pretty good. And one of the things that I saw that was noted this week that he did in that game was, and this came from Brian Baldinger, courtesy of him there on NFL Network. On one of the plays, the defender in front of Colton Miller falls down. So Colton Miller's lined up in his stance. The defender that's directly in front of him slips and falls down to the Coliseum turf like a lot of people do on the Coliseum turf. So he falls down, and Colton Miller, his eyes remain on him for just about a second, just a beat, and then he shifts over and he picks up Jared Davis coming in, linebacker for the Lions, picks up Jared Davis coming in on a blitz, shifts his feet over, and blows Jared Davis up. Takes him off of, just decleats him on the block, and then goes back to his guy that originally that he had responsibility for. And Baldinger pointed out that what an incredibly heads-up play that was for a rookie to recognize that the guy he's responsible for is already taken out of the play. Now move. Don't stay on that guy.
Exactly.
Don't stay locked in on that guy. Now go and find someone else to hit.
Sure, because what are you going to do? Stand over him while he's stumbling around trying to get up? No, you go to the next available guy and you smash him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So really cool play there by Colton Miller. Another great play by Raiders Fan Radio alumni, Keith Smith, new fullback signed from the Dallas Cowboys. He might be one of our all-time favorites.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a sucker for fullbacks anyways. If you're watching the video, you see my autographed Marcel Reese jersey hanging up behind me here. I love the fullback position is just cool, man. I just, I love guys like Allstott and John Ritchie and,
Absolutely.
Of course, Marcel is amazing. I even like Jameis Olawale. But now with Keith Smith coming over, Keith is awesome. And so Keith on one of those run plays, and I forget who he was running, who he was blocking for, but he comes out of his stance, which is great just to see that old school I formation anyways, comes out of his stance, blows up his guy on the line of scrimmage, then keeps on going, and about 7 yards further downfield, takes out a second guy, hits that guy so hard he knocks him into a third guy. Keith Smith, one guy, blocked 3 people on one play. It was awesome, man. I freaking love this guy. And you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
we're doing a show.
No. I'm sitting here and I watched you. You made a movement And I thought, okay, he's going. You freaked me out. I'm looking at the script, going, wait, there's not something here that says audio.
You thought you were gonna have to go out there and lay a block.
I was,
Right.
yeah. All of a sudden, there was crickets.
All right,
Yeah.
so last one though, I'll give you after Keith Smith. We've talked a lot about the running backs for the team, and obviously this year we're set with Marshawn. He's not only is he being a leader on the field, but he's starting to be a leader in the clubhouse as well.
Sure,
he's really emerged a lot as that, and I think that's a really cool role for him, and really one that I wish he would have been more of last year, frankly. And I don't know why. It's probably coaching.
There was just other stuff
going on,
year.
and so this year he's really having an opportunity to emerge as a leader, and all the footage that we're seeing, the mic'd up stuff of him has just been fantastic. Anyways, so Marshawn is great. So, and then after that, you got Doug Martin. So Doug Martin, we expect, is going to be kind of the second running back. And we've said quite a few times that after this year, the Raiders have to address running back. Because you got two guys that are going to be on the wrong side of 30.
Sure.
It's time to readdress it. Richard is a nice player. DeAndre Washington is a nice player. Talk about explosivity. I mean, DeAndre Washington runs aggressive, man. He's reminds me kind of like how Justin Fargas used to be.
Right.
Just real explosive to the line of scrimmage. But as far as carrying the workload week in, week out, probably not the guy. Man, and then all of a sudden, here comes Chris Warren. Rookie, got some lineage to him, right? His dad played in the NFL. Chris Warren, 6'2", 253 pounds, and runs a 4.5, Mosh.
That's a rocket, dude. You don't want to get in the way of that.
You don't want to get in the way of that. I mean, he's just a handful. Now, he ran a 4.7 at the combine, and they think that's why he fell, and wasn't drafted, or at least more highly regarded in terms of the draft. But now here he is. He's on the Raiders. So we have this guy, and Gruden said he runs with 4.5 speed. But at the combine, he ran the 4.7. But here's what that means. And so I ran some numbers. And now, look, we don't do math.
No. We love numbers. Because we don't understand them.
But, right. So I'm going to do my best to try to kind of walk through this a little bit.
Okay.
And what does that mean when you hear a player? So you got that kind of size. You think of like Derrick Henry, right, for the Titans, formerly from Alabama. Same size, same frame, runs a 4.5. Okay, so that's kind of the back we're talking about. And if you saw Derrick Henry play it all last year, especially when they played the Chiefs and beat them, when he gets in the open field, he can boogie, like he can move, right? So that's where the 4.5 comes in. But what does it actually mean? Well, when in terms of that sprinting ability, it's really more of a defensive thing, because you have to catch up on defense versus offense. You're already establishing the route or the line or whatever it is, and it's up to other people to out-accelerate you to catch up to you.
And these guys, you got to remember, a lot of them started out running backwards. They're running backwards,
the defenders,
so they're going to have to change their body structure and try to catch you.
Exactly. So here's what it means. So when we say a guy runs a 4.4 or a 4.5, here's what it actually equates to. Okay, so say we have a 4.4 cornerback, okay, and he's covering a 4.5 wide receiver. Okay, so we're talking about 1/10 of a difference in speed, okay, in a 40-yard dash, okay? When the wide receiver, say, makes a double move, and that freezes that cornerback for just a half a second, okay, and then that wide receiver carries on, over that 40-yard space, the cornerback, okay, so the faster of these two athletes, the corner will make up 0.1 or 1/10 of a second on the wide receiver, right?
Got it.
Because he's faster, right? Mm-hmm. That would take him 200 yards to catch up.
Yeah, it's not going to be done.
It's not going to be done. So here's the thing. So it's much more important for the defensive player to be faster than the offensive player. Now, that's not to say that guys like Martavis Bryant, who can run incredibly fast, aren't valuable, obviously, offensively. And Al Davis made a living bringing in guys like Cliff Branch and Willie Gault and whatnot, and James Jett and what. So I'm not downplaying the importance of speed on offense. What I am saying, though, is that it's more important for the defender to be fast. So it doesn't matter if Chris Warren is 4.5 or 4.7.
Exactly.
He's 250 pounds and can knock you on your ass and can run just fine in the open field. Uncle Mosh, I said all that to say this. I'm excited. Look, it's one preseason game. I'm not going to freaking put this guy in the Hall of Fame. But if he continues on this path, holy cow, man. He could be a serious, serious part of our offense going forward.
Exactly what you said. So let's say you make the move and you catch him at 252 pounds. What are you going to do with him? You know? Yeah. You sure aren't going to get in front of him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm excited, man. I think Warren's going to be a really fun player to watch. Of course, we wish him the best because we're Raiders fans, but I'm looking forward to watching this guy's career. And you know what? The guys that didn't want to see him play well, Jalen Richard and DeAndre Washington, all those guys were already kind of on the block a little bit.
Yeah.
Or the bubble, I should say, not the block, but the bubble. Man, Chris Warren's going to be our third running back. I mean, we're going to see a lot of him this preseason. So next up, we got the Rams, and it'll be fun to watch him play there. All right, so all that said, in this Chris Warren love fest, I've got some Chris Warren audio after the game.
As the game was going on, did you feel yourself picking up steam, getting stronger, and getting more energy?
I've always kind of played that way, and it's honestly how a lot of running backs are. You get into the rhythm, and then you start exploding, and then you start 3-yard runs turn into like 5 and 6, and then you break some. And yeah, I did feel it towards the end of my time in the game. Yeah.
Chris, John said, obviously you can put your head down when you run, but your breakaway speed is something that you have too. Do you feel like that's an underrated part of your game just because of your size?
Yes, I do. I mean, I haven't been the most explosive guy, I'm not going to lie. I haven't had the most explosive runs, but I have ran track, and I am like a faster guy, I feel, especially at my size. So I feel like there's some things that are overlooked, breakaway speed being one of them, but I mean, it is what it is. I'll just have to make more plays to get that opinion changed, you know?
Does John, I think it was the other day in practice when he yelled at you to get your pad level down, does that stick with you even now, or is that something where you just corrected the first run, obviously, and then forget about it, or does that kind of stick with you on every run?
It sticks with me, but I've been running high my entire life. It's very unfortunate, but yeah, it's something that I've been trying to correct constantly, and I do tend to get up higher because I'll try to break through a hole, and I'm not thinking about getting low. But I am like 6'2", so I'm not 5'10". I gotta get my pads down.
How many times have you seen that play in practice where you hit Gerard Davis, and how much talk has there been on your end about that?
I'm not huge on talking about a whole bunch of things that happened during practice. I mean, it's practice. If it happened during the game, it's something different, and I still don't believe that you should be talking about it too much. I mean, you can celebrate it when it happens, and then 24-hour rule. Same as if I got blown up and got knocked on my butt, it's 24-hour rule. Next day, you gotta get your mind right. Gotta get back on the next thing.
You feel like when you make a play like that, you gotta prove it in the game, and do you think you proved it today?
Not necessarily. I mean, you do to a point have to prove that you can keep doing that, you can keep producing, that you're not just a one-hit wonder, but at the same time, I think that also shows that you are capable of doing certain things, and that helps set a standard.
6'2", can run fast, 250 pounds, humble guy, like, where's number 34, like Bo Jackson? Like, I'm like, this guy's going to be my new favorite, man. I love it. So anyways, good deal there. So there's some audio from Chris Warren. All right, Mosh, I think that's all we got for the Lions game. You got anything else from the preseason game that kind of jumped out at you? Or?
I love it. There was a Derek Carr quote, and he said, I don't know if you saw that or not, but Derek said, I heard a sound. He said that after practice. He goes, I haven't seen Chris run yet, but I heard it was pretty awesome.
That's awesome. You know you're doing good when you can hear the guy. Yeah. You know, when you can hear it. That's awesome. It's kind of like, not for a good reason, but it was like when Shaq used to shoot free throws, you could hear him. And it wasn't from whoosh, it was from clank. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways. Pretty good. All right, so we got so next up, Uncle Mosh, we got the Sea of Fans mailbag. Just had time for one voicemail this week, but we're going to hear from one of our made men here in Raiders Fan Radio.
Here he is, fading, looking. He's under the gun. He's fired, he throws. It is.
Oh, he caught it. He caught it.
Now you know you always give me a bad time for the cackle there for that
screech.
Yeah, from that because that was from right field at an A's game. You know, you mentioned Ramon Laureano last week. You know, because of that amazing the walk off that he had.
Yeah.
Did you see the catch and throw he had? Was it last night? 2 nights ago?
I didn't see
Caught it at the wall, right? Caught it on the run, hits the wall, turns around, and hoses the guy at first for a double play. 321 feet in the air.
On a rope, right?
On a gunned him. Of course, well, a little bit of a loft, a little bit of an arc to it, but gunned him from 321. Unbelievable. Freaking A's are fun to watch this year. But anyways, enough about the A's. All right, so here on Raiders Fan Radio, we like to dip into the Sea of Fans mailbag. And if you call the show 3 times and get your voice message played on the air, then we refer to you as a made man. And here is one of the first made men on Raiders Fan Radio, our buddy Red up in Yakima, Washington.
Murf, Uncle Mosh, what's going on, fellas? Sonny, congrats on the 3rd. Red up here in Yakima. Well, how do you guys think about that preseason game? I think we looked like a whole different team out there. Connor Cook out there actually looked comfortable as a quarterback. P.J. Hall looked good. Defense looked good as a whole for what we've seen of it. And just glad that it's football season again, boys. Well, talk to you guys later. Go Raiders.
All right, there's Red in Yakima. You know, he mentioned P.J. Hall, who we didn't, and I think we're the only Raider fans that aren't talking about P.J. Hall. I mean, he had a sack, batted down a pass to the line of scrimmage. You know, the knock of him coming out of college was that he was short and he played at a small school and whatnot. But he had a great game. So, first off, thanks, Red, for calling in. But, yeah, P.J. Hall, that was another fun storyline on it. And just the overall, the return, right? He said, like, they're having fun on the sidelines. He said it was nice to see that, Mosh. The overall, just the culture of the organization is beginning to change back a little bit to where, you know, the guys are having fun. I hate to even say back because it was just so dang long ago. It's just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's just a newfound, right?
It is. Red used a term. He said different team. It was a different team out there, and I like that. But Red did bring up, you know, we tend to be, and we always have been, Derek Carr apologists on this show.
Yes.
You know, we love DC, man. But I tell you what, Connor Cook looked good.
He looked good.
He looked good. He looked confident. He was stepping up into the pocket. He didn't look scared. I mean, he had a good game, man.
Is that the Gruden effect, or is that the age, time in the league effect? What do you think? Is he starting to mature on his own, or is he influenced by Gruden?
Does it have to be just one thing, or could it be a combination of all the
true.
above?
That's a good point.
You know, it's D. It's all the above, man.
Yeah.
It's just, but he did. You know, he did. He looked good,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, he did.
You know,
he looked poised, right?
So-
and you know what? And you know, of course, and the knock against him coming out of college was that he was a jerk. Right, he wasn't voted a captain his senior year at Michigan State, like he was. But I didn't see any. Of course, again, we're not on the sidelines hearing these exchanges, but from what you can see on TV, it didn't look like there's any kind of animosity or any kind of ill, you know, dispositions by anybody towards him or him himself. He looked like this.
Yeah,
It looked
he
like a
was
backup
out there.
quarterback.
Yeah, he was out there having a great game.
Yeah.
He was out there having a great game.
Hey, what's up, Raider Nation? This is EJ Manuel. You're listening to Raiders Fan Radio. Super excited to get this season back rolling, and I hope you guys are having a great offseason.
Speaking of backup quarterbacks, right there,
Yeah.
good friend of the show, EJ Manuel.
And EJ didn't have a bad
looked good
game,
too.
man.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
looked good too.
You know, I don't know if the Raiders are going to carry 3 quarterbacks or not. If they do, obviously those are the 3 guys. If they don't, that'll be interesting. It's gonna be very interesting. They've got, you know, of course, a 3rd-round pick invested in Connor Cook, but he's coming up on a contract. You know what I mean? So maybe you Garoppolo him. Maybe he shows enough to where you get some value for him in a trade, and you get some draft picks out of him, or maybe a player, who knows. But I'm thinking that's probably the direction you want. I think as fans, we want to see EJ play really well, and we want to see them both play really well. But I think in terms of, we want EJ's more likely to be the backup guy, because if Connor continues to do well, he'll probably be gone, right, in some form or fashion, because this is Derek Carr's team. I mean, there's not running any risk of taking over anytime soon. So if you can, obtain some value for him, then that's what you do. And I think that's why they drafted him to begin with, to develop him. You know what I mean? Have a solid backup for Carr, and then one day, trade him off for some value. So
and he got a lot of playing time, the other night, but we're not in the room, so we don't know. We don't know
That's
what
right.
the mentality is behind that. We don't. He went 11 for 19, 141 yards, and a TD.
Pretty strong.
But yeah, real strong. But we don't know. EJ 4 for 6. I mean.
And that's when Chris Warren was taking over too.
Yes,
right? Like EJ
yes,
wasn't called
exactly.
upon to throw the ball a bunch.
No.
We were running the heck out of the football.
But see, what my point is we don't know what's going to happen next game. Is it going to be Derek comes in for the first set of downs, and then it's the EJ show? We don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Right. A couple things that are coming up in the chat. Some talk about Connor Cook. My suggestion isn't like the Raiders are going to trade him tomorrow. That's not what I'm alluding to. I'm alluding that eventually before you pay him, you're not going to pay him quarterback money. So if he's doing well, just like the Patriots did with Garoppolo, before he gets to a point where you got to pay him for real money, you're going to trade him and get rid of him.
Exactly.
That's what I mean. Well, the Raiders will utilize him as long as they possibly can, but when it comes down to the day where they actually got to scratch a check for him, they're not going to do that. They're going to enjoy his time on his rookie deal.
And we're going to be looking at roster numbers here too. There's a whole lot of variables involved.
Absolutely. And we're going to start running out of money too. As soon as we pay Khalil Mack and pay Amari Cooper and whatnot, we're not going to have $8 million laying around to sign a backup quarterback.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So anyways, that's probably what's going to happen with our buddy Connor Cook. All right. So next up, Mosh, as I mentioned at the top of the show, we have an interview this week. And our interview is with Mike Summers. Mike is the organizer, founder, proprietor of the Raiders Fan Convention. So a pretty cool event that goes on multiple times through the year. It's evolved over time, but the gist of it is this. If you think of how a comic book convention would work or any other fan-type convention, that's what he does, but with the Raiders. And he has former players come back. He has, I don't believe he's having current players, but he'll have, local celebrities, things like that, people that are associated with the team. Obviously, the super fans, Obviously, the super fans will come and make appearances and photo opportunities and take pictures and whatnot. And it just sounds like a lot of fun. I've never been, but I'm looking forward to attending a first one, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But until then, let's go ahead and let you listen to this interview with Mike Summers. Those of you on the YouTube feed, you won't hear the interview. It'll go straight for the podcast listeners. So for you YouTubers, you'll have to check out the podcast when it releases. But until then, here's Mike Summers. All right, Raider Nation, there's our interview with Mike Summers, organizer, proprietor, founder of the Raiders Fan Convention. Uncle Mosh, what do you think, man? Pretty cool event, huh?
Man, one of his pressers, if you look it up, says the biggest Raiders party in the universe.
Like it.
I love it. I love it.
So yeah, pretty cool time to get everybody together. Anytime you can, organize Raider fandom, I think is a cool thing. It's what our fan clubs do, like the guys up in New Jersey in the Black Hole, or it could be, all the different chapters of Raider Nation that are out there. Anytime you can organize fandom, it's a pretty cool thing. And he's doing this on a really large scale with thousands of people, and so pretty cool. So he dropped in the interview there that they are going to, he's looking at doing a fan convention in Nashville around the draft next year. And so, I invited myself to,
of course
you know what I mean, to be part of that. And of course, I was thankful that he was willing to let us join into those reindeer games. And so, yeah, we don't know what that's going to look like yet. But whatever it is, the NFL draft is in Nashville. And for those of you that don't know, Uncle Mosh and I are relocated here to Middle Tennessee from the Bay Area. We were both born and raised and grew up sports fans in the Bay Area and brought our fandom with us. And we now live in Middle Tennessee, right here in the backyard of Titans country. And so, but that's where the draft is going to be. And so Raiders Fan Radio is going to be there on site at the draft. We're still waiting to find out like what the locales are going to be as far as like the announcing of draft picks and, all the different draft parties and whatnot. But between Uncle Mosh and myself, we know enough people with connections downtown. we're going to be in the middle
there.
of it.
We'll
We're
be
going to
there
be in the
somewhere.
middle of it. So, and we will definitely be broadcasting live from the Raiders fan convention that's going on here. So pretty cool. So a good time talking to Mike. Definitely check out their Facebook page. Check out their websites. Be part of the Raiders fan convention. What are the next 3 coming up, Mosh? Do you have those handy?
So it's let's see. He's got San Diego, and then he's in
Was it Arizona and then Oakland? Tucson, maybe?
Las Vegas? No.
Vegas?
It was Vegas.
He just said it in the interview.
Yeah, it was
That's okay.
Las Vegas, then Oakland. So it's the bye week, October 20th in Vegas, and then November 10th in Oakland.
Perfect. There we go. So definitely check out Mike. Check out the Raiders fan convention, and definitely support and get involved into what those folks are doing. It should be a good time.
You can. Some of the hotels that he stayed, he's got some great deals, like on the blocked rooms and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Some of those hotels are $240 a night.
Yeah.
And they got blocked rooms. You save almost $100 a night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's right there. So
cool.
You just go on their website. They've got a Facebook page and all this stuff, and you can get all that info you need.
Cool. Perfect. Good deal. All right, so definitely check that out and support the Raiders fan convention. All right, Uncle Mosh, I believe that brings us to the end of another fantastic episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Hope you enjoyed that interview with Mike Summers and some of the other audio bits and things that we were able to get to today. You can check out what we are doing at any time at RaidersFanRadio.com. Support us by subscribing to our show on iTunes. That's really one of the best ways to do it. But you can certainly also find us on all the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can hit us up, Raiders Fan Radio, at any of those. And you can find all the shows on the Murf's Fan Cave Podcast Network at murfsfancave.com. And that is this show, Raiders Fan Radio. That is Mondays with Mikey and Murf. And that is the Fan Club Blitz with Splatterhead and Fitz, our fan club show. So you can check out any of that stuff under Murf's Fan Cave. And appreciate everybody listening. Appreciate those of you that are watching. Appreciate Watts Raider, Nick Z, Alexander. Ron was in there. Who else am I missing here? Mike. A bunch of people there in the chat, so thank you for joining us and following along there. I know I'm not always the best chat follower because I get distracted doing the show.
You got too many buttons to
I know, right?
control
So
over
I
there.
don't type in there very much, but know that I'm trying to read that as much as I can, guys, as we're doing the show. And so definitely shout you all out and thank you for doing that. There we go. Mosh, you got anything before we check out of here for the night?
We had a lot of fun. It's always a good show.
Yeah, hit the soundboard, Mosh.
They love us. Listen to them loving us. And for little Josh, what's his name?
No, Lil Murf.
Little Murf.
Well, not Lil. Well, there was Little Penny. Remember Lil Penny?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was Lil Penny, and so I thought we'll go Lil Murf. We'll go.
I kind of like Mini Murf.
Mini Murf.
So does everybody else.
Oh, that was nice. That was nice. So Mini Murf. So not Little Murf. We'll go with Mini Murf.
Mini Murf.
Okay.
Mini Murf.
Uncle Mosh, I can't hear myself think. Keep it down, fool.
Love that guy. I can't wait for my mush doll.
Yeah. We'll have to wait.
I told him how to do it with the Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah. Ken, see if you can put some white paint on the top of a Mr. Potato Head. Don't forget the white goatee. You'll need to do the white goatee and the white hair, the Pete Koch hair.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
All right, thank you again for joining us here on Raiders Fan Radio. Uncle Mosh, hit him with a tagline.
All right, Raiders Fan Radio. Fandom, not dum-dum. I had to make up for last week.
We'll talk to you guys next week.